Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where women from every walk of life come together to break barriers, embrace their power, and live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Vicki McDougall, and each week we explore inspiring stories, actionable strategies, and empowering conversations to help you step into your confidence, amplify your voice, and create a life without limits. No matter where you are on your journey, this is your space to grow, thrive, and become unstoppable. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. I told you all that things were going to change in the new year, and this is the first big change that we're seeing, and I am so excited to introduce you to this lovely, lovely woman that I've met. You know, when I talk about empowering women, well, I've got to tell you that Roni has shown that. We met, we spoke a little bit, but she started sharing my social media stuff and really saying such kind things and really helping me see that this choice that I have made, you know, sometimes we're a little bit scared. Sometimes we don't think that this is the right one, but this girl has made me feel so amazing and just solidified that this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. And so this is Roni Barber.
Hello.
Thank you for being here today, Roni. I'm so
Yes,
happy to
ma'am.
have you
Thanks
here.
for having me. I'm excited. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is, you know, and you were, I think, one of my first phone calls with when I put out a post in a women's entrepreneurial group on Facebook. And that group, I have to say, is pretty amazing. The women
It
in
is.
that group are really, really cool.
Yeah. I love seeing just the added conversations on a daily basis or, somebody will post something or you will post something and I'm like, that resonates. That definitely resonates and I'm gonna share it. More people need to see it. So
That's right.
I love it.
And I think that that's what this is about for me. You know, um, and I mean, we can talk about your journey because that's really what I want people to hear is no matter where you are in your journey, whether you are just starting it, whether you've taken a left turn and gone in a little bit of a different direction, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's your journey.
Yes.
And your journey is pretty cool.
Yeah. I
Pretty
love it.
cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
share a bit about yourself.
So I am a mom. I live in Ohio, so just Midwestern. I work for a hardware company in talent acquisition. So lots of empowering women on my team there. But I'm also an entrepreneur as well. So I have my own, small business and just kind of everything wrapped into one package. And I feel like it's ever evolving. So yeah,
Yeah. So, you know, you work a corporate job, right?
I do.
And
Mhm.
you know, I remember when we talked, you still light up when you talk about that corporate job. Like you really
Yeah.
enjoy what you do, and I think that that's pretty amazing because a lot of people feel like they get stuck in that place, right?
Yes. Yes. And I feel like over the years, like I will not lie to you, not through this job, but we all go through that where we feel stuck and we feel like we, either want to level up or we want to kind of change the way the narrative is going and that's kind of where I started with this. The job that I'm in now, it was very different. Same job, very different, a couple of years ago. And I was brought into a team with two amazing women who said, I like what you do. Would you like to join our talent acquisition team? And I said, absolutely. So I went to work for our corporate office instead of a local retail support center. And I will tell you, being on a team of women that are just so empowering it's helped me. Before I made that change, I was okay with being a mom, just a mom. I was
Yeah.
okay with, working a normal job, going home, and not really having a lot of other stuff to it. But after I joined where I'm at now, it really gave me the ability to know that like you have a voice and it is okay to have a voice. You don't have to shrink yourself smaller. And that kinda started the catalyst to everything, so I owe so much to that, and, to light up still, doing what you do day in and day out, like, that's the important part of it, so
It so is because as a mom, like you said, you're teaching your children that too. You're showing them that when we go to work every day and we love what we do, our kids see that.
Mhm.
Our kids then strive
Yeah.
for that feeling of love and contentness because, there's so much pressure on children these days. And as they grow, there's so much more than was when I was younger. I mean, you're much younger than me, but
Yeah.
even still, there's so much more out there now. And our kids, if we can lead by example, like I see my adult children
Mhm.
changing because I'm changing. I see their
Yes.
narrative changing. I see the way they show up changing. And then I see the way their children are changing as well. And if I always say, like, we can't change go back in time, but what we can do is once we start the shifting and we start becoming that person, like you said, when you met those women, you went on a team
Mhm.
and you guys are creating something that is unstoppable because you're a team and you're together and you're empowering each other on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And we have that impact, and it's not just a small department, it's literally company wide. We have a huge impact that we can make things better, and that's just that is what excites me. So,
And I love that, making an impact. If we can, share a little bit more about what you do because you don't just work there. You are an entrepreneur. You do wear many
yeah.
hats. You're a mom. You have this really great balance between them and it isn't an easy juggling sometimes.
It's definitely not, and over the course of, I want to say probably 2 years, that's really been kind of, my path that I've been on. And, it started when, like we talked about before, I was, brought into this team of these amazing people and I was able to kind of look internally. And part of that is, looking at yourself and saying, like, do I like where I'm at? Do I not? And I had to kind of acknowledge the fact that, like, you have to make a change for yourself to be happy, So, I started my business. I started losing weight, started taking care of my health. I've lost almost 100 pounds. So, I go to the gym 3 days a week. I, do little events here and there. I'm constantly designing stuff on, my own free time on top of working. And we do sports with the kids. So there's always something going on in our life. And we're just trying to, fill it with the things that make us happy. And ever since I started working on myself, that is what our family does.
And
So,
that is exactly what I was going to say. You were the catalyst to all of that,
mhm,
which,
absolutely. And
wow.
it's so funny because my husband, like, even he was at a spot where, like, he needed to make a change for himself. And I think with me kind of just finding a different positive mindset, getting into shape, being healthy, just to be healthy, just to be with our kids when we're 50, 60 years old, he started doing the same thing. And that's what excites me too, So it was an inspiration to kind of get everybody on the right track. So,
You know, so many people think it's so hard, right? We all do. We all think it's hard. But just you saying, like, you go to the gym, is that non-negotiable time for you every week?
for the most part, yes, I would say about 90% of the time it's non-negotiable. There are times where, of course, where, life happens, we got to make that choice. And, we're always going to go through times too where, different seasons of life. But for the most part, yes, that is something that is a non-negotiable. That is my own mental health. That is what makes Ronnie have her time and fills her cup instead of, I have to go just because I want to lose weight. No, it's because it's my break from reality to focus on what I want to focus on.
Which is a beautiful thing because there's,
Yeah.
there's 24 hours in a day for all of us. And it's how we
Yeah.
choose to make that time work for us. That's
Yeah.
the key.
You have to want to do it. And that's the thing. You have to want to be able to do it and
Yeah.
find the value. So,
I love it. I just love that. And your husband
yeah.
made the changes too, which is huge.
Yeah.
And 100 pounds,
Yeah.
girl, like that's a person.
It's both my children combined.
Yeah. Like that
you
is
know?
amazing.
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
truly amazing. So was there, do you, what started that journey for you? Like, what was it that Because I always know, and I always say this, there's a thing under the thing. Tina taught me that a long time ago. It's not usually just, oh, well, I need to lose weight. There's a reason why A, you're stopping, or B, it's not working, or whatever. But there's usually a reason. And then once that, it's like a switch, right? So
Yeah.
tell me that. Tell me a little bit about that story, because I know that's not easy. I'm on a weight loss journey myself, and I know it's not easy.
I think honestly, I remember being my mom's age, right? And like I remember her being the age that I am now. And she's an amazing woman. But then I thought about it and I was like, a lot of people say middle age is like 50, 60, 70 years. It's not. It's 35 years old. Of course we want to live to be 100, but middle age is 35 to 40 years old, So I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to be active when my kids are older. I want to be able to live a very long time. And if I don't make those changes now, I don't wanna get to a point where I'm 50, 60, 70 years old and, I'm struggling to walk or I'm struggling to keep up with my kids or, I wish I woulda made a change a long time ago. What we do now is what's gonna develop that in the future, right? So whatever choices we make now is you're writing the outcome, So if you don't make it now by yourself, nobody's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have to look in the mirror, you have to save yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's gonna tell you get up and go to the gym. Nobody's gonna tell
Yeah.
you, work on some of the things so that way, you're just a more positive person to be around. You have to find that in yourself. And it's hard to lose weight, but I think the hardest part is, being able to sit with the things that you don't like about yourself and being able to say, I don't like that. And I need to be able to acknowledge that and change that. That's where I found the most difficult part is. And that's where I found the most growth.
So when you made that choice and you asked yourself the questions, right? You had to ask yourself because it didn't come from anyone else.
No, no, it came from me. Like, do I like waking up and feeling tired all the time? Well, no. What could we do to fix that? Making those changes. Do you like feeling stressed at times where you shouldn't be? No. Okay, so what can we do to fix that? What are you going to do to change that? Because that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does create a ripple effect. Any positive
Hmm.
change in growth creates a ripple effect. So when you are sitting on the couch eating your bag of chips and drinking your pop or whatever it was before, or going back for seconds or whatever, like we all have a story. But when we surround ourselves with those people, we're going to do those things,
Exactly.
right? And you
It's
chose that choice.
yeah. Who you surround yourself is who you are.
Yeah.
So if you're around a bunch of inspiring, amazing people, you have no choice but to, look inside yourself and change some of those things. So
Yeah. And being able to have a conversation and we were complete strangers a week ago. We didn't know
yeah,
anything about each other. We just trusted in each other enough to say, you know what? And then you jumped on a call with me. We got on a call, we connected, we talked, we felt the energy. And it's an
yeah,
amazing thing because that one step that I took to actually make this bigger than myself, and the one step that you took to say yes to yourself, is creating something, and that ripple effect's going to go so far.
absolutely. It's the vibes that you radiate too, right? So
Yeah.
like Vicky being Vicky and radiating those happy, positive vibes, it's contagious. So other people want to be part of that as well. So a lot of
Yeah.
it is what Vicky is doing too.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with one of the women that I spoke to, and she said, "Can I just say one thing?" I said, "Sure." She goes, "Stop saying trying to do
Yeah,
something." She said, "You are doing it." And it was like, "Oh, I am, right? I
you
am."
are. Light
And
bulb.
and that's probably the first time that you actually saw that weight coming off and that step that you took, and you were like, because, a lot of it, "Oh, I just lost 5 pounds this week." You didn't just lose 5 pounds. You lost
Exactly.
5 pounds, right? And you can say, "I
Mhm.
lost 100 pounds." Like,
Almost,
Wow.
close to, but still, if we round up.
Round up. Always round up when we're
Round up,
losing.
girlfriend.
Always.
Yes,
Give yourself
exactly.
that credit, that few couple of pounds. Yes, absolutely. And that is to be celebrated. That is really to be
Yes,
celebrated. And I know how many people in this world struggle with the weight loss. I am one of them. And it is hard. It isn't easy. And I've always been a heavier girl. My whole life I've been a plus size girl. So to even see myself different is a hard thing.
yeah, and sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, we're gonna have those hard days. I still have hard days where I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know if I like the way this looks." It's normal. We're women, it's gonna be that way, but, to be able to kinda take a step back and see the accomplishments that you did do, that's where, it it's so satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful thing. And you're very creative. So you're not just I'm not saying just but you don't just work in a corporate job. You aren't just a
No.
mom. You are a very creative woman as well. You create and help a lot of people as well as
Yes.
working your full-time jobs on the side.
Many hats, many jobs, many hats.
Yes. So what would you say? I know being a mom, we love being moms. I mean, I know I do, and we've talked about that. You love being a mom, but what is something like with your other creativity with your jobs? What is something that really lights you up there?
So, I have my small business, right? And it is a lot of, I do handmade stuff. I like to make designs and, kind of whatever's in my brain. I like to get it out, so I may have like a really cool pattern or something like that. But it kind of morphed into this other part of it where I met some people who owned a small business as well, and they needed some help in some of their startup stuff. And we just developed a friendship. And then I started doing flyers for them. I started doing gift cards for them. I started helping out with just different processes of their business. And I was like, wait a second, I do this already every day, but if I can spin this into what I do with the wild range, and help small businesses as well, that's what makes me light up. Because then I have the opportunity to not only take somebody who may be on the beginning of whatever path that they're on, and we can collaborate together and help get them to a different level. And that has been probably the most exciting part. So it is ever evolving. It started off as something to just kind of give me an outlet.
Yeah.
And, just I have a very spicy brain. I know we talked about that before, but I have a very spicy brain. So sometimes you just have to have that outlet. But if I can combine that with helping people too, that's a win-win for me, hands down. Like I'll do that all day long. So
Yeah.
um, it's fun, and it's rewarding.
For sure. I love that. And that's what I mean. Like, you're modest. You're not a big, flashy, look at me kind of girl, but your wild range is pretty cool. Like you are creating something. You really, really are. And I love
Yeah,
it.
and I can't wait to see where it goes. Even the small improvements I've helped with different people that I've came across, that's a win for me.
Yeah.
But to see where it can go and how, different and the impact that it can make, like that's the exciting journey for me there, and I've done other things where I've started from the beginning and been able to, make it bigger than what it is. So I have, every anticipation this will do the same thing,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I love it. I really, really do. Well, I want to really thank you for your time and your being. You are a bright light. And, in this world of confusion and chaos, and I say it a lot, we need more bright lights and we need more women who can tell their stories to share with women listening to know that no matter where you are, you can start. You can start anything at any time that you choose to. And there are people out there like yourself, like myself, that will help, that will hold
yeah.
your hand, support you, cheer on from the sidelines, do whatever it takes, because that's the only way this works, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. 1,000%. And it's always something too where you can start on a path and it's not, you don't have a destination of growth, right? You're not gonna finally get to a spot where you're like, "Oh, I've done it." We're gonna go through different periods of time, and I think one thing that really excites me too is that, like, the growth that I did have, even in times of uncertainty, and even in times where you don't know what the next step is, or something crosses your path that you wouldn't have been able to handle, a year prior, you look at it completely different, and that is something that, I think all women should know, that, like,
Yeah.
you can create the narrative.
Yes, and that's exactly it. You hit the nail on the head. You get to create your narrative. And what
Yes.
you want, you go for. You do it. No matter
Yeah.
what. It's hard to get quiet and listen to yourself. It's hard with all the chaos and all the noise and all the have tos to actually allow yourself. So for when you said you have a spicy brain, you get to release that, which is empowering in itself, because you've recognized what you need for yourself to make yourself your best version, and you've acted on it. You've taken you've taken the action. You didn't just have the intention and leave it there. You actually took the action, and the results, the payback is unbelievable.
Yeah. And there's no end to the limit of the payback that you're gonna get from that
No,
as well, it's just gonna keep,
exactly.
growing, and you're gonna get even more out of it, So yeah, like, it gives me cold chills sometimes to think about it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Meeting all of you beautiful people that I have met in this last few weeks about when I finally got out of my own way, because I've been doing this for about a year and I love it. I do. But I love this. I love this connection. I love this time to be able to share stories and to show the world that it's all about what you choose to be. It's your choice. The possibilities are endless. And like you said, you're a Midwestern girl who's up to big things. And that is an amazing thing. And just by meeting you, like we've talked about future things to do together and stuff like that, which one conversation, if you didn't have that
Yeah.
one conversation, what would be different? Right? So by having this one
Exactly.
conversation, we have created a relationship.
We have. And that is so exciting that, like, there are so many more things that, like, we can talk about. We're just scratching the surface, right?
That's
But
right.
there are so many more things that we can talk about in different places that we can go from one conversation, from making a choice to post and look for somebody to come talk to, and for somebody to say, "You know what? That'd be cool. Let's do that,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I'm so thankful that you said yes. I'm so thankful you reached out to me. I know that we're going to create many things in the future together. And, I would like to say thank you for being you, for
Yes.
being the bright light, and for listening to your inner voice, for learning how to fill your cup and creating a change in this world. So thank you for that. And thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you more than I can say.
Thank you for having me, Vicky.
And I'll have all of Ronnie's information in the show notes, so you can reach out to her. You can contact her if you want her to do some work for you, or just to check out her adventures as well and keep in touch. So thank you all for listening today, and I will see you the next time. Have yourselves a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your power is limitless. If you love today's conversation, subscribe, share it with the women in your life, and leave a review to help more women discover their unstoppable selves. I'm Vicki McDougall, and I'll see you in the next episode, because your journey to unstoppable starts now.